it was imperative for me in my 30s to master the art of detachment from men because I grew up with a chronically male centered mother. Not only did this take a toll on our relationship, it took a toll on my self esteem and also my perception of her. What I didn't know while I was watching my mom have relationships with her so called friends and boyfriends, and even some family members, is that it wasn't just that she was a people pleaser, she was pedestalizing these men. So much to the point where I could see a difference between the way she would, talk to me and the way that she would talk to these other people. It was starkly different, and I didn't have the verbiage to call it for what it is. But the part that broke my heart the worst is when I went to my mom, and this is probably the second time. I went to my mom and I asked her why she continued to have a relationship with somebody who made me feel uncomfortable, not only just in his energy, but the way he looked at me. There was a time when I had just turned like 18 or whatever. And mind you, this guy has known me and my brother. I know he's known me since I was about 7 or 8. If I was 8, my brother was probably like 11. He's known us for a very long time. My mother then got in a relationship with this man, but I remember telling her shortly after, when I was around 18, when he was driving me to the store, the gas station or whatever, like I could feel him looking at me in a way that a grown man isn't supposed to be looking at a young woman, especially a young woman that he watched grow up. I try to rationalize it in my head, and say, like, because she didn't make it a big deal, I try to rationalize it in my head and say, well, I was an adult and all this, that, and the third, but no, that wasn't okay. I remember having a conversation with her again when I got a little bit older. Like I said, when I got the verbiage enough to call it for what it is. And I asked her, why would you continue to stay close to someone who would make your daughter feel uncomfortable? And she said, it's not like he touched you. And that probably was the nail in the coffin for me. That was, in a moment, I'm giving all of these examples because, I'm trying to rationalize, like, why she would say something like that in the first place. So I'm like, okay, well, if it was my niece, and then in a moment, like, I had to take a step back and like really ask myself, like, none of that shit should matter. I shouldn't have to give an example of if it was my niece, if it was a cousin, if it was her sister, anybody. I shouldn't have to give. A mother's first priority should be protecting her children. And I've told my mother where I felt uncomfortable around the people that she was with. I've been very vocal, and never had a problem with voicing my opinion about the way that she conducts herself with men, period, whether it be family members, her friends, whoever. Like I said, it's a stark difference between her having a conversation with me and then her having a conversation with the man. I'm talking tone, words, everything. I pay close attention. And the one thing that I can never forget is her saying that shit to me. The fact that it would only be valid, or you could only see the validity in him being predatory by him touching me is is crazy. So as long as somebody isn't touching you, it doesn't matter. I've always been able to pick up on energy, and as a and the thing is, like, because she's a woman, I know she knows. I know she knows. I know she knows the difference between a man who was just looking at her like a regular person and a man who was looking at her with interest. or a man who could be predatory. We all know as women. And in that moment, it was like she just dismissed the fact that I felt violated. And I will never forgive that. I have forgiven a lot of different things. People don't understand, like, children who go no contact with their parents have probably exhausted all that they can do before they get to the point of having to cut a parent off. I mean, just for lack of a better phrase, sometimes it feels like it feels like cutting an appendage off of you, a piece of you. It feels like you're cutting a piece of you off. Did I want to do it? No. Did I need to do it? Absolutely. Because I felt like I gave my mother plenty of chances over the years to, like, gain my trust back, or to be trustworthy, or, just to be there for me in the way that I needed, because there were just certain things that I felt like she failed at as a parent. And I mean that's what anybody's parent. I can forgive, you having blind spots, and this being your first time going through life, and you not learning or even knowing certain kind of things. But bottom line, you always protect your children. You got to be willing to cut anybody off about your fucking kids. I wouldn't give a fuck if they was 8 or 80. The fact that you would still want to have somebody in your life who your child is suspicious about and told you that this person could be predatory. I had a psychotic episode, and they were carrying me out on a stretcher, and I looked over and seen that nigga, and I blinked on him. What the fuck are you doing here? Oh my God, if I could just show y'all the face that he made, like the smug little, oh my God, I can't even put it into words. Like, it's like when somebody knows that they're found out, but you look crazy, so who the fuck is gonna believe you? Yeah. And the fact that, I understand she told him to drive my brother over for whatever reason. I don't fucking know the story behind that, whatever. But out of all fucking people to see when I'm having a psychotic breakdown, it's just like it's just like adding insult to injury. I don't know how to fucking explain it, but anyhow. I can forgive my mother for not having all of the tools as a parent to raise two individuals in a world where, in a lot of ways, she has to parent herself. But I will never forgive my mother for not protecting me. I will never forgive her for being dismissive of me telling her that someone in her life, regardless of who the fuck he is giving signs of someone who is predatory. And even if this person hasn't outright said anything, everything in his energy is giving that. And the fact that you had to check him on one of our cousins back in the day before you even got with him tells me all that I need to know. And I'm not even going based off of her experience. I'm going based off of my own experience. As a young woman, you can feel on a man. You can see in his eyes when he is looking at you predatory. You can see, you can feel it. You can. And for a grown woman to ignore that, baby, I don't know. I don't know. People ask me a lot of times why I don't have kids. Listen, when you can't trust your own family to protect you, why would you bring a child into a family? Like, anyhow, I've made my own peace, right? I'm not sure what narrative, because I know people are probably asking, oh, how's your daughter? Blah, blah, blah. She gives them whatever story, knowing her, whatever. I don't really care. I don't really care about how I'm perceived. You know, you have people saying, oh, you only get one parent and all of this other shit. Yeah, you only get one you too. Fuck. And if ain't nobody gonna protect Tiana, I'm gonna protect Tiana. I had to reparent my fucking self. You know what it's like to sit in your motherfucking bed and to literally hug and rock yourself back and motherfucking forth to comfort you when you going through some of your worst moments. You ain't got nobody to come save you, nobody to hold you down, nobody to make sure that you're okay. And then when you do go to people with your grievances and your concerns, they dismiss you. Yeah, no. With family like that, who the fuck need enemies? So it was imperative for me to master the art of detachment when it comes to men, because I said, I don't ever want to put myself in another situation with a man where I am betraying myself in order to have proximity to him and get some false sense of validation. They don't mean shit anyway, because we already know all of these niggas and their attention is cheap as fuck. When I said it was easy not to sleep with a man, I'm telling you, it's super easy when you really just put shit in perspective. If I can't at bare minimum admire a man for who the fuck he is, why the fuck would I be opening up my body to him? I can make myself come faster than anybody the fuck else. So please, the prerequisites that I have for a decent person to be in my life are free. Free. And niggas don't even have that. I told myself that I would not betray myself in order to just have somebody in my life, because my dignity and my self-worth means so much motherfucking more than just having some meat suit around, taking up space, draining my energy, siphoning my power, being a fucking parasite, acting as if I'm not as powerful as I am. Nah. No. So yeah. I remember writing emails. I remember having conversations. I really was just trying to find it in my heart. Really just trying to find it in my heart to be like, well, maybe I should just take a different approach with this, and maybe I should just take a different approach. Fuck all of that. I feel like I'm parenting the parent. You think I've gotten any apologies? You think anybody has reached out to me to try to make amends? No. And that just tells me all that I need to know. That tells me all that I need to know. I'm cool. I'm cool. Like I said, I'm cool with walking away from anybody because it's people that I love to death that I know that I'll never probably speak to again. And I have made peace with that. I had a hell of a 2025. I came into the new year feeling great being great. You know what I'm saying? New opportunities on the horizon. I let the past be the past. I wasn't gonna let what kicked my ass in the past come into my future. Boundaries are still firm. Self-respect is still intact. And I'm staying away from all and any fuck shit. I am willing to cut off the motherfucking world if it means that I need to save myself. Because too many times have those people pleasing qualities rubbed off on me. That benefit of the doubt shit, all of that other extra shit. No. Betraying myself, going against what my body is telling me. The body always knows. Spirit always knows. We are spirits having a human experience. You know when somebody not real right. You know when you need to get the fuck out of a certain space. You know when somebody is bullshitting you. And you let people come in and influence you and tell you, oh, you shouldn't take this so serious. Oh, give people the benefit of the doubt. Oh, you're looking into things too much. Oh, that's not what you're recounting isn't really true. Get the fuck out of here. Now I got to start recording conversations with people. When it gets to that point when you like, damn, I know this conversation happened verbatim. And you're going to sit here and use the Darvo on me to try to convince me my reality ain't real? To try to throw up that I done had a drink here and there and all of a sudden I ain't got no fucking sense? You're goofy. I may be a lot of things. I ain't never been no fucking goofy. Ever. So now I'm 100% listening to me. Nobody has the power to make me question myself. I don't give a fuck who you are. You can go too. When you reach this level of enlightenment and self-awareness, I promise you, I don't want to say lonely, but you are gonna live a life of solitude involuntarily. Like, you're gonna be able to call bullshit. And you know what the sad thing is? I know some people do it on purpose, but like, I genuinely think some people think that the way in which they conduct themselves is normal. Like, you have been screwed over so much, or you done seen certain kind of things so much, you just have this skewed sense of reality, and you start to impede your negative thoughts on other people, and it got you fucked up. And then you go out into the world and just act weird with people. If I knew that I came from a background with a mother who was treated me like shit, was verbally and physically abusive, and all of these other kind of different things, do you think that I would impose that same reality onto my child? Or do you think that regardless of the circumstance, because I decided to have this little human being, that I would do everything in my fucking power to let her know that I am her first fucking line of defense? Or if you have a little boy, I am his first fucking line of defense against this fucked up world. I should be at bare minimum the person that they can run to and trust when everybody else is acting fugazi. Yeah. So when this is your reality, when not being able to trust anybody is your reality, solitude becomes involuntarily. And it's peaceful. It's a little boring sometimes. But I'd rather have the self-awareness of somebody who's not going for none of the goofy shit than somebody who's being willfully ignorant and has a whole bunch of people around them that they couldn't even fucking trust you anyway, I usually try to make content that's less than 20 minutes, so I'm gonna keep this brief. If you are in no contact with your fucking parent, I see you. I see you, I feel you, you're doing the right thing, and I don't want you to allow anybody to question your decision, because you know in your motherfucking gut it was the right one to make. It may have been hard, but it was necessary. I love you, and you will soon find the support. You will soon be aligned with the kind of support that your body can be easy around, where there isn't any anxiousness, where you don't have to second guess anyone. And that's it.